much, David. What is your experience on this? So I think, as you mentioned, having the IP ecosystem in place is relevant. And I think beyond that, we need to have the IP culture. If the businesses don't see the IP as a necessity, as a part of business strategy, okay, maybe in the beginning they're using trademark, but what is happening along the way when they're promoting their business, their technology? So what would you recommend and what is your experience?
Yeah, I mean, this is an important issue, and I think follow up with your previous question too, which is like, well, how does a startup with very little funds, how can they prioritize this? And there's at least a couple of things that can be done, and actually that I have specifically done for my patent work, which is sometimes. Some law firms will, do work and defer when they have to pay. It's like, well, maybe defer payment until you've got a funding round, so you don't need to have cash now. Or even have a law firm that does the work and say, okay, and we'll take equity in the company as opposed to taking cash. And so there are multiple ways that you can kind of get to getting the work that you need to have done when it's low on cash. But so your other question is like, well, how do you convince people? Because yeah, there's some people who are not aware of how critical their IP assets are going to be. And I have a brand new client that another attorney was talking to them, and they were doing a bunch of inventive work, and it said, you really need to talk to an IP attorney. And so I am now talking to them, and it's like, yeah, they've got a lot of work that we need to work on, and I'll one way or another I'll work out the how does the billing work to make sure that it works for them, and then the other part too is just in terms of focusing on, say, well, we don't necessarily need to file on everything, because maybe it's like some of these things are better as trade secrets and some are better as as patents. And also, it's like, well, maybe we file a reasonably good quality provisional application, and that buys us a year. And maybe that we've got something patent pending will be enough to persuade investors to say, they've got something that's tangible, and maybe that will be enough. So part of it is just when you meet people, you just have to educate them and say, this really is important. And I was going to say one other thing that I've run into is that, like, some people also say, well, it's like, if as a startup, it's like, well, I couldn't enforce these rights anyway. I couldn't afford litigation, so why should I even file? And so you have to address that, which is to say, well, you're building your portfolio now. You're not likely to need to enforce it now, but you might in a couple of years, and at that time you'll be in a better position to be able to do that. As well as there's also litigation funders that are making this more plausible as well. So it's like you need to file now, and then because it's valuable to you. So.